Hello students, myself Mr. Kinjal, Associate Professor, Pipisawan University. Today in this video, we are going to see about the model of fetal skull. Fetal skull or fetal head. Fetal head is larger in comparison of fetal body if we are comparing with the adults. Okay, the fetal skull. The fetal skull, there is a compressible and incompressible part is consisting. The compressible part is known as wall, while incompressible and rigid part is known as bells. The compressible part, which is known as wall, is consisting of two frontal bone, two parietal bone, two temporal bone and one occiput bone. This is forming a compressible part of the wall of fetal skull, whereas this is a floor of the mouth which is incompressible is known as base. Now we'll see the three area of fetal skull, that is vertex, brow and face. First is vertex. Now the vertex is the area anteriorly, it's bounded by the anterior fontanelles and the coronal suture, and posterior fontanelles and the lambdoidal sutures, and the two imaginary line is passing from parietal eminences. So this is area is known as the vertex. The brow area, at one side there is a root of the nose and the supraorbital ridge, and another side it extends between the bregma and the coronal suture. So this is the area is known as the brow area. Third area is known as face area. So one side is extend from the root of the nose to the supraorbital ridge, and another side there is a boundary is there, that is floor of the mouth. So in between this area is known as face. So this is the area of face, this is area of brow, and this is area of vertex. So mainly three areas are there. Now we will see the bones of fetal head. There is a two frontal bone is present, two parietal bone is there, one occiput bone is there, and two temporal bone is there. Now we will see the sutures of fetal skull. Between two frontal bone, there is the suture is known as frontal suture. Between frontal bone and parietal bone, the suture is known as the coronal suture. Between two parietal bone, there is a suture is known as there is a sagittal sutures, and between the parietal bone and the occipital bone, the suture is known as lambdoidal suture. Now what is the importance of sutures? The importance of sutures is when during the vaginal examination. Okay, so in the vaginal examination, the suture denotes which position and the attitude of the fetal head. It's denoting the position and the attitude of fetal head. Also, sutures help in molding process. Molding is a process which is an overlapping of bone is occur, and due to the overlapping of bone, the diameter of the fetal head is reduced, so which will help to enter the fetal head into the birth canal and pass out of the fetal head through the birth canal in the normal vaginal delivery. So this is the molding process, it is helpful. So mainly two importance of the fetal suture is that in molding process, and second one is that during vaginal examination for identification of position and attitude of the fetal head. Next is fontanelles. There are two fontanelles is present in fetal skull, anterior fontanelle and the posterior fontanelle. Anterior fontanelle is also known as bregma. It's a diamond shape, and the length of the fontanelle is 3 cm, while width is 2 cm. After the birth, it is closed at 1.5 years or 18 months. Posterior fontanelle is also known as lambda. It's a triangular in shape. The length and the width of the lambda is 1.2 cm. After the birth, it is closed at 6 weeks or 1.5 months. What is the importance of fontanelles? Fontanelles is important because during the vaginal examination, the identification of the fontanelles denote the position of fetal head or attitude of the fetal head. So we come to know about the position and attitude with the help of the fontanelles also. After the birth of the baby, to identification of some of the baby's condition, this fontanelle is helpful. If the fontanelle is depressed, it is indicating of dehydration. If the fontanelle is bulged, it is indicating of meningitis. That increased intracranial pressure, so condition may be the meningitis. Then it's also after the birth at some time, it's some period of time it is membranous, and by this way for the marked brain growth it is helpful. So for the brain growth of the baby after the birth it will be helpful. So fontanelle's importance is also for the development of the brain. Now we will see the diameter of the fetal skull. There is the anterior posterior diameter and the transverse diameter is there. There are the 6 anterior posterior diameter and 3 transverse diameter is there. First of all, we will see the transverse diameter of fetal skull. First diameter is the bitemporal diameter, second is biparietal diameter, and third one is bimastoid diameter. First, bitemporal diameter, that is the distance between the two end of coronal sutures. The distance between two end of coronal suture is known as bitemporal diameter, and that is 8 centimeter. Biparietal diameter, the distance between two parietal eminences, this is a prominent part of the parietal bone, is known as parietal eminence. The distance between two parietal eminences is known as the biparietal diameter, and that is 9.5 centimeter. Third one is bimastoid diameter, that is the two end of the mastoid process. That is the distance between two end of mastoid process is known as bimastoid diameter, that is 7.5 centimeter. Now we will see the anterior posterior diameter, that the 3 diameter is from the posteriorly, 3 diameter is from the anteriorly. First we will see the posteriorly. This is known as occiput, and behind the occiput, this is the part is known as subocciput, also known as the nape of neck. The first diameter is suboccipitobregmatic diameter, that is from the nape of neck to the bregma, that is anterior fontanelle. So the distance between the nape of neck to the bregma is known as suboccipitobregmatic diameter. The measurement of this diameter is 9.5 centimeter. During that time, the fetal head attitude is complete flexion, and the presentation of the fetal head is vertex presentation. Presentation is the part which is occupying into the lower uterine segment, that is known as presentation. So this is the part which is occupied in the pelvis, that is the vertex during this engaging diameter. Okay, so when the suboccipitobregmatic diameter is engaged into the pelvis, at that time the vertex is present in the lower uterine segment. Second is suboccipitofrontal diameter, that is from the nape of neck to the midpoint of frontal suture, that is known as suboccipitofrontal diameter, and that is 10 centimeter. During that time the attitude of the fetal head is the incomplete flexion, and the presentation is vertex presentation. Third is occipitofrontal diameter, that is from the occipital protuberance to the midpoint of glabella. This is known as the occipitofrontal diameter, and this is the measurement is 11.5 centimeter. At that time marked deflection of the head is occur, and due to that the presentation is vertex presentation. So for the vertex presentation, 3 engaging diameter is available from that posterior side, suboccipitobregmatic, suboccipitofrontal, and the occipitofrontal. Now we will see anterior side, mentovertical diameter, that is from the midpoint of chin to the highest point of sagittal suture. Midpoint of chin to the highest point of sagittal suture is known as mentovertical diameter, and this is 14 centimeter. During that time the fetal attitude is the partial extension. Partial extension is that, and during that time the presentation is bro presentation. As this diameter is 14 centimeter, we have seen in the pelvis no any diameter, no any plane of pelvic diameter is more than 13 centimeter. So the engagement is not possible if this diameter is present in the fetal head. During the fetal head is enter into the pelvis, at that time if mentovertical diameter is there, in that condition the fetal head is not able to enter in the pelvis, and due to that the vaginal delivery is not possible, so we have to go for the CS delivery. Okay. Next is the submentobrachmatic diameter, that is from the floor of mouth to the bregma. This is known as a submentobrachmatic diameter. It is a 9.5 centimeter and there is a complete extension of the attitude of the fetus, and the presentation is a face presentation. Next is submentovertical, that is from the floor of mouth to the highest point of sagittal suture, that is a submentovertical diameter, and that is 11.5 centimeter. The attitude is partial extension and the presentation is a face presentation. So during the face presentation, this main two diameter is engaging, that is submentovertical or submentobrachmatic. So this is about the anterior posterior diameter of the fetal skull. Next is molding. What is molding? Already I told you about molding, that is the overlapping of the bone. Generally there is overlapping of the bone is occurs, sutures overlap to each other, and because of that the diameter of the fetal head is reduced, and that may help to pass out the fetal head from the birth canal. This is known as molding. Now molding is identified in a grade 0, 1, 2, 3. If bone is separated, the molding is known as 0. When bone is touching to each other, this two parietal bone is touching to each other, molding is known as 1. And if this bone is overlapping to each other slightly, it's known as 2 grade. And if bone is severely overlapping, the grade is known as 3. 0 and 1 is good during the vaginal delivery, but if +2 and +3 grade means grade 2 and 3 is indicating of fetal distress. Caput. Now we will see the caput succedaneum. Caput succedaneum is normal and it is present during the vaginal delivery. It's a shifting of or swelling of the fetal skull due to the stagnation of the fluid during the vaginal delivery. Okay, swelling, it may be boggy, means smashy, or it is diffused, and it is disappear within 24 hours of the birth. So after the birth, within 24 hours, it is disappears spontaneously. There is no special treatment is required for subside of caput succedaneum. So this is about the fetal skull. Thank you everyone to listening me. Thank you.